Hello, my name is Adam Samet. I am 26 years old, a Ghanaian. Yeah, I live in a town in Ghana called Kintampo. Yeah, I'm a cool guy, really cool. Yeah. Okay. Basically, I'm the third born of four children, and I am the first male born. I have two elder sisters and one younger brother. Yeah. So I started my whole life in here in Kintampo. I went to a basic school at Modern Preparatory School, in abbreviation MPS, completed in the year 2011 and furthered into my senior high school, T. Ahmadiyya School, in the same year. Life in SHS was cool, very, very cool. Yeah, it wasn't easy though. It's not been easy, especially first year. As a first year student, much is expected from you, especially chores, this house chores and stuffs. You have to clean the room, wash the toilet, everything. Like almost all the work on campus, you are expected to do it. So first year in school wasn't easy. I was fortunate to have some town guys, people I am from the same town with, back in school, to whom I was always walking around with, mingling with, and so that made life easier for us back then, because we depended on each other for support. We consulted each other when the other was down, so we ain't going to talk about what happened in high school anymore, right? So from high school, okay, I completed high school in the year 2014. That is 5 years back. 5 years back. So after my last paper, I came home. During that time, when I came home, like I dedicated that period, that first 1 year of my completion, to my father. I dedicated that year to him. I was helping him, serving him at home, because he has done a lot for me. So in order to show appreciation, I decided to dedicate my first year of completion to him. He was a farmer and a driver. We have a plantation and animal farm. We used to grow yam. We have a yam plantation and maize. Every weekend, that is Saturday and Sunday, I go to help him on the farm, and possible in the evening, we go to the animals farm to go and do one or two things there, to go and work. Sometimes go to give them injection, give them food and feed them and do stuff. So my first 1 year, let me see, when I was waiting for my results, I have to stay at home for 4 months before my papers will be ready. If I would further to the tertiary, then so our results were out. I went to check. Okay, it wasn't good. Let me say it wasn't good. I had one or two lapses that I have to fix them. It's kind of another headache, because when my papers were out, seriously, I didn't enjoy life. I didn't enjoy life at all, because it's like I wasted 3 years in SHS without passing, and I have to waste another year or half in rewriting those papers I couldn't make up. So, like, everybody, let me say almost everybody was disappointed in me. for failing them, the trust they had in me, for betraying the trust they had in me. So though failure isn't the end, so I have to give it a try. So I have to travel back to Accra to stay with my brother for remedial classes. So I stayed in Accra for 6 months, rewrite those papers I couldn't make, came back home, and after 2-3 months the papers were ready, and by God's grace I was able to make it. After my paper, when I came home, I didn't want to stay at home. And I didn't want to dedicate all my time to my father, because I also need some time. In Africa, or Ghana to be precise, when you complete ECHS, much is expected of you. You are seen to be an adult. You are like, it's a period that there are certain things you have to cater for yourself. You don't just depend solely on your parents. There are certain things that you have to cater for yourself. So in order to be able to get my basic needs, I have to start something. I got into teaching. I applied to one of these basic schools and applied, and then I was asked to come and start teaching. So that was my first work. I started my first work as a teacher, people teacher. Why I chose teaching was like it was the common work as at that time any SHS graduate could pursue, because there wasn't any basic trade or any other work. What I had in mind was I wanted to further my education, then know what's the way forward. But since things turn out to be the other way around financially, so I have to also be able to raise up something so that I could add up to what my parents will be able to raise. So that got me into teaching. It was fun though. It was very fun. I'm somebody who likes children. I really like children a lot. And it gives me joy till date. Seeing the children like coming to me for help and those stuff. And I will say I am the most liked teacher in the school, because I was so closer to them. Like I was their parent on campus, because they really like me, especially the crèche and the KG. I play with them a lot. So till date, even though I have stopped teaching, but till date, when they see me in town, they run to me and they come to play with me, just as we used to do back in school. So I taught for 2 years. Yeah, I taught for 2 years. How I used to live my life, daily life, as at that time when I used to teach, I didn't like staying at home. I am that type who likes to mingle with friends. I like spending my time with friends. I could go and stay with them from after school. That is after I've closed from school, from 3:30 till midnight, possible by 1:30 to 2. Then I'll come back home and sleep. The next day I'll take my bath and go to school. After school, come back home, go and mingle with my friends. So that was how I used to live my life then. I wasn't staying at home. If you really need me, it's either you by phone or you contact any of my friends. But don't expect to see me at home because you will meet me at home. The only moment I am at home are on weekends. That is after I've gone to help my father on the farm. I'll come back home from the farm. When I'm back from the farm, I'm stressed out, so I have to have some rest. So within that time, that is in the afternoon from 1 to 2, it depends on what or where on the farm you go. When we go to the yam plantation, we do come home earlier than going to the animal farm. So when we go to the yam plantation, sometimes we could come home around 1 to 2, or when we go to the animal farm, we come home around 4, yeah, in the evening. So when I return from farm, definitely I have to rest. I have to have my rest. I'll take my bath and then go and have my rest till it's around 7 in the evening. Then I'll step out to go and see friends again. After I quitted teaching. That was last year. Yeah, last year. I wanted to take some rest. I needed rest really. So, and I need to change my environment. I've always spent my life here in Kentampo. Always, always. So I needed to change my environment. So I decided to go back to Kumasi, where I completed my formal school, my high school. I went back to Kumasi, stayed there for about, yeah, I've been there for 6 months, 7 months, yeah, 6 to 7 months. So I missed home, really. I really missed home. So I decided to come back home again. So when I got home, for the first 3 weeks of my return, I've been home idle, doing nothing, just as usual. Go out to mingle with my friends, come back home at night. So one day, I met my elderly brother, one cousin of mine, seated in front of Airtel to go communication office. So I saw him, he was talking with one of the supervisors. So I approached him and we had a conversation. So I asked him that if he could make inquiries for me, if there was a vacancy. So he did, and they said they did have vacancy. They needed a sales guy, somebody who can take some stocks outside and go and sell. That is, you come in the morning, they will give you some amount of stocks. You take it out, go and sell, then you come back with your sales. So that is, let's say, and you are being paid on how much you sell. If you are able to sell more, you earn more. If you are not able to sell more, then you don't earn more. I decided to take it since I was home. Ideally, half a bread is better than none. I was given a form to fill. I completed my CV, attached it to the form and submitted it. So I have to wait for their reply. I was there and I had a call from the supervisor, asked me to come to the original office for interview. So I consulted my cousin that I was asked to come for interview, and to my best knowledge, sales guys do not go for interviews because theirs is to go and sell and come back with the money. So I was surprised that I was asked to come for an interview. Cousin told me that considering the kind of family I am from, a trustworthy one, of course, I have been assigned, or I have been given the manager for the shop. They have entrusted me with the shop, so I have to come and be managing the shop. So I am not supposed to be the sales guy anymore, but rather I have to come and be managing the shop. It's an interesting work too. It is. It's very interesting. It facilitates a lot of income because I don't have to. I'm not supposed to be paid on commission anymore. It doesn't have to be that the more I sell, the more I earn. I am on payroll, so I have a fixed amount that I do take every month. So I was supposed to work on a 3 month probational period. That is, I'll work with them for 3 months, and if my output is okay with them, then they can hire me permanently. And if they didn't like my performance too, they can send me away. So after my 3 months probational period, they called and they said, okay, fine. They liked my performance, so they want to hire me permanently. During my 3 months probational period, I was taking 350 Ghana cedis, 350 Ghana cedis. After my 3 months probational period, I am now being paid 600 Ghana cedis as a result of my hard work and trustworthiness. So it's been a good work, and I think I'm enjoying it. I like it. As a kid, I've always admired military men. Yeah, I don't know. I get some joy whenever I see them in their uniform, and I like watching a lot of these action movies, these military men those kind of movies. I do enjoy them. I like watching them a lot. So I had this spirit of military men in me. So it has always been my dream that one day I'll be able to work with the military, and I am working towards that currently. I am working towards that, and yeah, and by God's grace too, everything is moving on well. Yeah, just waiting for a confirmation letter that I can start my training, and then I'll set off to go. So this is me, Abdul Samad Adams.